Okay, social studies 9. So real quick today, I'm not lecturing today. We're just I'm using this video to kind of go over the worksheet that I want you to work on because it can get a little confusing. So make sure you pay attention to this. Watch this before you go anywhere near the worksheet that I gave it, just so you make sure you're not confused. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your textbook and you're going to need the assignment that I put on this date. It's just a little chart that compares the two views. So remember what I said to you yesterday. If you can understand one thing from this chapter, understand that there are two views, conflicting views. There's the government's view and then there's First Nations view as to how they view not only the number of treaties, but the Indian Acts and residential schools and all that stuff, right? And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through all that stuff today. So what you need is, again, you need your textbook and you need that sheet which is on the Google Classroom for today. Okay, so I'm going to go over it with you real quick. So this is what that assignment looks like, okay? So you're going to use your textbook to complete the timeline which compares First Nations perspectives and the Canadian government perspective on the numbered treaties. This information is on page 128 to 135. I've already gone through and put what page and what date in this. Normally if I gave this to you, I'd make you figure it out for yourself, but I'm not there. So I'm trying to make it a little easier for you. So what you're going to do, so let's do the first one together. So you're going to go to page 129 in your textbook, which was I happen to have right here. Okay, so we're going to page 127. Ah, crap. Come on. I don't know why. 26, 125, 126, 27, 135. Well, that doesn't make any sense. There we go. Okay, so we're going to page 129 there. That is funny. So this is what page 129 is. Now what you'll see on this is you'll see the top part here, and this is for all these pages, 129 to 135. The top part is the First Nations perspectives, and then the bottom is the Canadian government's view. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each and every one of these dates, each one of these pages, and just compare the two perspectives. So if we go back to the assignment here, so what is the source from the First Nations perspective? You would say the source is this metal here. Okay, so that's the source. What's the evidence from the source that gives the First Nation perspective? And then does this affirm First Nations rights? Yes or no? So the far left and the far right hand side are just yes or no. So what's the source? What's the main idea of the source? What's the evidence in the document that affirms First Nations right? So there's First Nations, and then whoop, on the other side, the Canadian government. And again, the Canadian government one is down here. So what's the source down here? Okay, so Canadian government view. So again, it's the same source. It's just using, like, what's this metal? Okay, and then this reading here. So the reading in the metal, and then what does it say? Okay, and then you would come back here, and again, what's the source, the reading in the metal, what's the main idea, what's the evidence, and do you think this affirms First Nations rights? Okay, and then you would keep going on. So now you go to page 130. Same thing. First Nations perspective at the top, government perspective at the bottom. Okay, so can get a little confusing. We'll go through this tomorrow or maybe next week, depending on, I'll have a look and see how far you guys get on this, but we'll go through this a little bit in a Google Meet just to kind of give you guys a little help with this. Again, really important that you get this done, because what this will do is it'll just kind of help you understand that there are lots of different perspectives when it comes to all these historical documents. So the number of treaties, the Indian Act, all these things, okay? And then there's this multiple perspectives, okay? So good luck with that. Again, if you have any questions, just plug something into the Google Classroom and I will get back to you, okay? Have a great day. Good luck.